Hello learners, Namaskar. I am Pragya, welcoming you in your YouTube channel English Seeker. Today I am going to start a series of class 12th NCERT chapters explanation, and I have chosen the very first chapter of first flight, and that is the last lesson. So in it very first I will discuss about the writer of this chapter, then about the summary of this chapter. So let's see about the author. The author of this chapter is Alfonso Daudet, who was born in 1840 and died in 1897. He was a French novelist and short story writer. His actual experience of life at every social level and in the course of travels helped develop his natural gift. During the Franco-Prussian War, which had a profound effect on his writing, he entitled in the French army. The lost war and his failing health forced him to go back to writing for the rest of the life. And in this chapter, as I told you that this story, the last lesson, is set in the days of the Franco-Prussian War, which was started in 1870 and finished in 1871, in which France was defeated by Prussian, led by Bismarck. Prussian then consisted of what now are the nations of Germany, Poland, and parts of Austria. In this story, the French districts of Alsace and Lorraine have passed into Prussian hands. The story deals with the theme of language imposition and language loyalty. The story highlights the pain and is inflicted on the people of a territory by its conquerors by taking away their right to study or to seek their own language. So this was a little bit information about the author and about the chapter 2. So let's start the summary of this chapter. So when the story started, there are two protagonists of this chapter. The very first is Franz, a little boy, and the second is M. Hamel, who was an old teacher. So let's see the summary of the chapter. Franz started for school very late that morning. He was afraid of being scolded because M. Hamel was to question them on participles and he did not know the first word about them. He thought of running away and spending the day out of doors. The warm, bright day, the chirping birds, and the Prussian soldiers drilling in the open field back to the swan mill were tempting, but he resisted the temptations and hurried off to school. In the further stanzas, what happened? Let's see. There was a crowd in front of the bulletin board near the town hall. Watcher, the blacksmith, asked Franz not to go so fast. He assumed the boy that he would get to his school in plenty of time. Usually there was a great bustle when the school began, but that day everything was as quiet as Sunday morning. Through the window, Franz saw his classmates already in their place and M. Hamel walking up and down with his terrible iron ruler under his arm. Franz opened the door and went in. He blushed and was frightened. M. Hamel very kindly asked him to go to his place. Franz noticed that their teacher had put on his beautiful green coat, his frilled shirt, and the little black silk cap, all embroidered. He wore these only on inspection and prize days. The village people were sitting quietly on the usually empty back benches. Everybody looked sad, and Hauser had brought an old primer. So this was about his appearances, and yes, let's see. In this stanza I discuss about the old Hauser. M. Hamel said that it was the last lesson he would give them. Henceforth, only German was to be taught in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. The new master would come the next day. This was the last lesson of French. He wanted them to be very attentive. Franz felt sorry that he had not learned his lessons properly. The idea that M. Hamel was going away made the narrator forget all about his ruler and how cranky he was. Now Franz understood why M. Hamel had put on his fine Sunday clothes and why the old men of the village were sitting there. They had come to thank to the master for his 40 years faithful service and to show their respect for the country that was theirs no more. M. Hamel, in the next stanzas, the story is about M. Hamel asked Franz to recite, but he stood there silent. The teacher did not scold him. He confessed that his parents and he, it means the teacher, were at fault. Then he talked to the French language, the most beautiful language in the world, the clearest, the most logical. He asked them to guard it among them and never forget it. Their language was the key to their prison. Yes. Further, it is said that then they had lesson in grammar and writing. The peasants' code were low on the roof. Franz thought if they would make even the peasants sing in German. All the while M. Hamel was sitting motionless in his chair and gazing at one thing or the other. His sister was packing their trunks in room above as they had to leave the country next day. After writing, they had a lesson in history and then babies chanted the ba, baby, bo, boo. Even old Hauser was crying. So, yes. Then old Hauser was crying when he was just chanting these words. All at once, the church clock struck 12 and then the midday prayers started. At the same moment, the trumpets of the Prussians returning from drill sounded under the window. M. Hamel stood up. He wanted to speak, but something choked him. Then he took a piece of chalk and wrote on the blackboard as large as he could. And what did he wrote? Vive la France. And its means is live long France. After this, he stopped and leaned his head against the wall. Without a word, he made a gesture with his hand to indicate that the school was dismissed and they might go. So it was the complete story. It was the summary of this story, and further I will try to provide you its summary in Hindi too. Till then, keep connected and stay tuned. Thank you.